Tamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Aryati Tarasivara Dhagavari Sadugayil Arivai Rami Paramatuman Arunachala Ramanan Parivalulam Muruganala Paranarndidu Guhayarndu Arivam Vizhiravai Nisam Arivai Adu Veliyam Annamalai Adiyenai ஆண்ட அன்றே ஆவியுடல் கொண்டாய் எனக்கோர் குறையுண்டோ குறையும் குணமும் நீ அல்லால் என்னே நிபற்றை என் உயிரே எண்ணம் எதுவோ அது செய்வாய் கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினையில் காதல் பெருக்கே தருவாயே கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினையில் காதல் பெருக்கே தருவாயே. Shall chant the Shanti Path. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yesterday we saw the Rishi of this Amirthabindu Upanishad telling us sooner or later we have to give up all the attachments towards the external objects and make the mind nirvishayam. So that is a very important prerequisite to dive deep into oneself. If not, the mind will always be pushed out. Then he says, after that, you have to bring back this mind and fix it in the heart. Heart means what? Where from all the thoughts arises. All the thoughts arise. That is called as heart. So you have to fix it there. Once when that mind becomes one with that Atma, the self, or when the mind disappears, then that seeker has attained to that supreme abode. So I told you, it is so much in tune with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's Atma Vichara. And not only that, how long we should practice this? so long the mind is totally dissolved, meaning it will not come again and raise its food. Till then, till manonasham is achieved, till then this has to be practiced. And this is jnana, this is dhyana. All the other things are just logical discussion and intellectual gymnastics. That's it. So this is the core. In Arunachala, Pancharatnam, Bhagavan says, Vidayam vittu vidangum arulnesa vadiyadakka nikkum manattal ulamadhanil unnai dhyanittu yogi volikanum unnil uyarvurumidun. There also he says, Vidayam vittu. That is the first step. Meaning we have to renounce the world outside. Renouncing means what? We always hold on to this world with a sense of this belongs to me. These are all mine. Those things are not mine. It's all okay. This mamata and ahamta. Meaning what? I am the hero. Everybody should listen to me. Do my way or hit the highway. So this is the ahankar. Always we want to be the hero everywhere. This ahankara is there. So this has to be renounced. When this is renounced, everything is renounced. So that mind has to be brought back to the source again and again. Yena kena prakarena. Whatever may be the techniques, you understand which appeals to you. With that, you have to fix the mind here and just abide there. So this is what we have seen yesterday. Suppose if this Atma Vichara is so difficult, then we can do Vedanta Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. How to go about? In the next verse he says, anyway, you cannot think about this. It is beyond mind and intellect. You cannot think about it. Na chintyam. Na chintya means what? You cannot think about this. But since we say that, you should not just go and sleep or indulge in your mundane activities. If you don't think about this, then also you are lost. You will be lost in the world only. Therefore, you should think about this as Atma, the Self, Satchidananda Swarupam, or Satyam Anantam Jnanam Brahma, and never ever try to objectify it and try to see it as an object. Want to know it as an object in the world outside. Because whenever you want to know, there is the knower and the known. And also it is always conditioned by, the object is always conditioned by time and space and causation. So therefore, it has to be realized as oneself. So this is very clear. Again and again it is said, we have to realize it as our own self. Pakshapata vinirmuktam brahma sampatyate tada. And one who abides like that, he realizes this Pakshapata vinirmuktam brahma. This Brahma which never takes any sides. Pakshapata, it never favors anybody. It is same to all. Like the space which accommodates everything, but it is not attached to anything. It is not having any likes or dislikes. So similarly, this Brahma also, Pakshapata Vinirmukta, is a very important suggestion given here. If you are a true seeker, if you are seeking Brahman, if you want to abide in Brahman, this is a very important key word. Pakshapata Vinirmukta. You should not take sides, you should not favor, you should remain in the Pakkam Sayada Baba. And what? In our own self only. Sampadyate tada. Till here, we saw the last class. Now we will chant the verse 7. Swarena sandhayet yogam.
Swarena sandhayet yogam.
Aswaram bhavayet param.
Aswaram bhavayet param.
Aswarenanubhavena.
Aswarenanubhavena.
Bhavo va bhavayishyate.
Bhavo va bhavayishyate.
Swarena sandhayet yogam.
Swarena sandhayet yogam.
Aswaram bhavayet param.
Aswaram bhavayet param.
Aswarenanubhavena.
Aswarenanubhavena.
Bhavo va bhavayishyate.
Bhavo va bhavayishyate.
Swarena sandhayet yogam. Swarena, with the help of the swara. Yogam sandhayet. You try to get united with that absolute, with that truth. With the help of the sound? Yes. Swara here means the sacred symbol Om, Pranava. See, in music also they say Swara, na? Sapta Swarangal. So Swara means a sound symbol, you can say. But here in this context, it is referred as Om. So with the help of the Om, Upasana of Om, one can get united with that absolute truth or with the true self. Aswaram bhavayet param. Aswaram bhavayet param means what? In fact, one has to really meditate upon the aswara. You said now only you have to take the help of the swara and get united. Now you say that you have to meditate on the aswara. Aswara means amatra Om. It's called as amatra Om. Meaning, after you chant Om, there is a silence. That silence is very sacred. It is called as amatra Om. So from the silence, the sound emanates. And then the sound goes back into that silence. Then the silence alone remains. And then once again the sound. So this is how the Om chanting goes. So generally it is said, we have to concentrate our mind on that Om, that sound symbol. And then when there is a silence, we have to keep the mind in that silence. In fact, Om means A-U-Ma. That all of you know by now. And this A represents the waking state. That's what's said in Mandukya Karika. U represents the dream, and Ma represents the deep sleep state. So these A-U-Ma, these three sounds, these letters, they form this Om. So initially we have to keep the mind in that sound symbol, and then try to keep the mind in that Aswara, the Amatra Om. So if you chant like that and keep your mind in the sound and then in that silence, what happens slowly and steadily? Mind gets purified, and then mind gets concentrated, and then something wonderful happens. When you are able to keep the mind in that silence for a long time, here the Rishi says, Aswarena Anubhavena. When you can focus the mind on the Aswara, Aswara means the Amatra Om, for long, what happens? See the expression here. Bhavo va abhava ishyate. Meaning, the existent becomes non-existent, or va means va, or the non-existent becomes existent. What is this from? Meaning, now for us only the prapancha is real, it is existing. We see only the world in front of us. That alone is existing for us now. About the truth, for us almost it is non-existent only. We are not seeing it anywhere. We are not feeling it. We are not able to conceptualize it. So it is almost non-existent only for us. So when you keep your mind on the silence, what happens? That as if non-existent reality becomes existent. And this prapancha, which is very real now, which is the only thing which we experience now, it becomes null and void, becomes non-existent. How beautiful it is. மரத்தை மறைத்தது மாமதையானை, மரத்தில் மறைந்தது மாமதையானை, பரத்தை மறைத்தது பார் முதல் பூதம், பரத்தில் மறைந்தது பார் முதல். In Tamil we have got some very deep scriptures. Tirumandiram is one by Tirumoolar. He says, when you see the wooden elephant, you cannot see the actual elephant. Once when you see the actual elephant, that wooden elephant disappears. See? Meaning what? In a museum, a huge elephant is kept. It's a wooden elephant. But the child, if you know it's real elephant, it's scared. And the father says, Beta, this is not a real elephant. It's just a wooden elephant. So the elephant vision goes. Similarly, now we see only prapancha and this truth is hidden. Then when you are enlightened, the prapancha drishti goes. And the kachi poi. And the truth reveals. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi clearly says, when you are having the experience of this world, self is not experienced. When you experience the self, the world is not seen or the world is not experienced. So clearly he says, especially in Who Am I, in the Nanyar Puttagam, he clearly states. So therefore, when you keep the mind in that sacred Om, Pranava, first in the sound and then in the silence, and try to keep the mind only in the silence, then the mind glides into a state from where, when you look at it, the vision is that which was existent till this point of time becomes non-existent. That is the prapancha. And that which was non-existent, that is the reality, becomes very much existent. How beautifully he has put it, see. Bhavo va abhava ishyate. So everything is topsy-turvy. Now we see only the world. Later, in the enlightened state, you see only the self. After that, even if you want to see the world, you will not see it as you see now. Because the truth is, the Nama Rupa Jagat is only a sort of a projection of the mind. When the mind is dissolved, the Nama Rupa Jagat vanishes and only self remains. From Vyavaharika Dasa, they say everything is Brahman or everything is Atman. Because again and again our question is, but the Nyaya also sees the world, he also interacts with the world, then it is said everything is self only. For him also, everything is self only. Everything is Brahman. This is said only for the seeker who is questioning again and again, what will happen to this world? He is also interacting with the world. Oh, he is also seeing the world. But from the Mahatma standpoint, Atman alone is full stop. How? Nobody knows. Even to say the self or Atman is everywhere is a very, very incomplete or a very rough statement. It is present all the time. It's also a very, very not a precise definition. Because when you say it is everywhere, we are talking about space. When you say it is always present, you are talking about time. But this space and time arises only out of the mind, which is false. So with this false parameter, how can you define self? So everywhere if you say also it is not true. All the time if you say also it is not true. Self alone is full stop. Is that not remarkable? At the same time, do not worry. You will have your house. You will have your wife and children. You will have your bandhus.
You will also have your mortgage.
Yeah, true. Everything will remain the same. Yeah. So, but you realize that Atma alone is and nothing else exists. Megha nanasti kinchana. Not even an iota of anything else exists. Only Atma the self. This is the ultimate experience. Beyond that, there is nothing. So what is this Atma or this Brahma Swarupam? That is defined in the next verse. Tadeva nishkalam Brahma
Tadeva nishkalam Brahma
Nirvikalpam Niranjanam
Nirvikalpam Niranjanam
Tat Brahmahamiti Jnatva
Tad Brahmahamiti Jnatva
Brahma Sampadhyate Dhruvam
Brahma Sampadyate Dhruvam
Tadeva Nishkalam Brahma
Tadeva nishkalam Brahma
Nirvikalpam Niranjanam
Nirvikalpam Niranjanam
Tat Brahmahamiti Jnatva
Tad Brahmahamiti Jnatva
Brahma Sampadhyate Dhruvam.
Brahma Sampadyate Dhruvam.
See, most of you are attending satsangs regularly, I suppose. Whoever comes, whichever Swami comes, you are all attending. And also regularly you are having your own classes, Vedanta classes. By now, you must have heard this thousands of times. So much so that there is a sort of illusion. Idella எனக்கு தெரியும் தானே. Oh, we know Swami. What is this? We know. Familiarity breeds contempt. So when you are so familiar, you take it for granted. You say, "This is all we know very well." You want something always fascinating, thrilling, exciting. But these are all same old stuff, Swami. What is this? Same old stuff. But it is not so. It has to be contemplated again and again in our hearts. It is very important. It should remain ever new, ever fresh. Then only it makes sense. Tadeva nishkalam Brahma. That alone is Brahma, which is nishkalam, which is partless, meaning devoid of any limbs. Means our body, it has got different limbs, no? 2 hands, 2 legs, different limbs we have got now. But this Brahman is partless, meaning what? It is not the gross body, it is beyond. Nirvikalpam, Niranjanam. Nirvikalpam means actually devoid of any differences, you can say, or beyond thoughts. Nirvikalpa samadhi, they say, where there are no thoughts which create differences. Please understand. Thought alone creates differences. No? What are the differences it can create? Myself, I, and this, that, this world. Or in this world also, things are very different. Good, bad, wonderful, ugly. So this Brahman is beyond thoughts, means is beyond the subtle body. So Nirvikalpam and Niranjanam, it's pure. Here it implies it is beyond the causal body also. Why? Causal body means ignorance. Ignorance is the real dirt or the real sin. So this is beyond ignorance or the causal body. So always pure. Niranjanam. So this is the interpretation given by Guruji. So beautiful it was. So this Brahma is partless, is beyond thoughts, meaning there are no differences whatsoever in this Brahman, and it is beyond darkness. Tamasa paramuchyate. So it is Niranjanam. Our Acharya used to define Niranjanam in a very beautiful way. Suppose if you are eating food, if you find hair, you say the hair is dirt, you throw it away. In your hair, if you have got a food particle, then you say the food particle is dirt and you throw it away. So that should be there, and whatever is other than that is dirt. Similarly, in Brahman or in the self alone is, there is nothing else. Therefore, it is very pure. It cannot be contaminated, it can be polluted by anything whatsoever. So therefore, it is Niranjanam. It is so pure. And Tat Brahma Ahamidi Jnatva. This is a Upadesha. This is the most beautiful Upadesha. And you will get it nowhere except in our Upanishads, in our Vedas. Tat Brahma Ahamidi Jnatva. That Brahman which we are talking about, the Supreme, that is your own self. Iti Jnatva. You have to realize thus. Having realized thus, Brahma Sampadyade Dhruvam. That's the car. Brahma Sampadyade. He attains to that Brahman, the state of Brahman. Dhruvam, which is, means what? Not shaking. Dhruvam, and eternal. Dhruvam means eternal also is given here. So therefore, one has to realize this Brahman as oneself. So wherever you go, you have to come back to yourself. There is no other go. In fact, you cannot realize anything else except the self. You know this. You cannot realize anything else except the self. Because when you give up your senses and the mind, how can you experience something else? Please tell me. It is said, it is beyond the senses, beyond the mind, it is said. Just imagine, these are the instruments we are using to know or to understand anything. If you give this up, how can you see a God in the form? How can you hear the Nadam or his divine music? You have given up the senses. And beyond mind, how can you even think of him as a wonderful thing? So therefore, when you transcend the body and mind, you can realize him only as a self, nothing else. So therefore, whatever it is, you have to realize as the self only. Actually speaking, I tell you one more important point. Please note this point. The traditional Vedanta Shastra talks about the individual self and the totality only because we are so much identified with this body, with this boundary. When this is taken care, I am not this body. When this is taken care, then there is no need to break our heads with individuality and totality. There is only knowledge in which everything appears and everything disappears. In fact, there is nothing other than this knowledge. And when you are in the source of all the knowledges, the source, the true knowledge, then there is nothing other than that knowledge. That is Brahma, or that is Atma, the self. It is very hard to digest. Therefore, we have to talk about so many things. Jagal Lakshana, Ajagal Lakshana, Ajagal Lakshana, all the stuff. And then to say Tat, and that is the real Lakshyartha. Tvam, this is the Lakshyartha, and Tat is Tvam only. When you follow Bhagavan's philosophy about the deep sleep state, dream state, and the waking state, if you can analyze it scientifically, then you need not break your head. It is very clear. When you are awake, the mind sort of comes out, and then the world. When the mind is not, there is no world. So the world is nothing but the mind. This is very hard to digest. Then whose mind? There is no who, because he, she, it, everything is part of the mind. So it's just mind's projection. When the mind subsides, there is only self. Wait, Swami, 1 minute. What about my life, his life, her life? Where do we all meet? Don't worry about that. Maya will take care of all those things. Everything is happening, no? Everything is happening. But when you inquire thoroughly, scientifically, it is just the self alone. Or this is like a dream thrown out. So therefore we can experience or we can realize only the self. That's why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, this Ishvara Darshanam and all is only Atma Darshanam, he says. That which appears will disappear. Whichever is appearing is in the field of Triputi only. Therefore it is not the absolute. Howsoever wonderful it may be. See, one more thing. If you really worship the Lord in some name or form, He can come in that name or form and He can bless you. No doubt about that. But that is also not the ultimate. The ultimate is we have to realize the self. So this Brahman, whatever is the Upanishad talking about, is our own self. Tat Brahma ahamiti jnatva Brahma sampatyate tvam. And for sure, he attains to that eternal, to that unchanging, that imperishable. Nirvikalpam anantam cha
Nirvikalpam anantam cha
hetu drishtanta varjitam
hetu drishtanta varjitam
aprameyam anadim cha
aprameyam anadim cha
yajñātvā muchyate buddhaha
yajñātvā muchyate buddhaha
nirvikalpam anantam cha
nirvikalpam anantam cha
hetu drishtanta varjitam
hetu drishtanta varjitam
aprameyam anadim cha
aprameyam anadim cha
yajñātvā muchyate buddhaha.
yajñātvā muchyate buddhaha.
Once again it is said, nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpam means there are no differences whatsoever. in this Brahma Tattva. Thoughts alone creates the differences. It is beyond thoughts, beyond mind. Therefore, no differences, no bheda whatsoever. Abhedam. That is what is called as nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpam, anantam cha. Ananta means what? Endless, infinite. Anantam. Shri, 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 Ananta Shri. What is Shri? Ananta Shri. Meaning what? Infinite. So Anantam is infinite. Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam. Means it is beyond logic. Hetu means logic. There is no logic. Drishtantam, there is no comparison. Drishtantam, you cannot give any Drishtantam. This is like, you cannot say like that. There is nothing like that. It is unique. It is one without a second. So you cannot compare it with anything. Drishtantam you cannot give. Even if you say it is space, like space, it is only a very, very closest, but it is not, it's beyond. See, this Gagana Upamam is the most closest example you can give, but still it is very imperfect only. So you cannot compare. And also it is not logical in the sense, it's beyond intellect. You cannot prove it with the logic. But still, Acharyas, they try their best to explain and try to convince the intellect. But then they say it is beyond. You know that famous story, no? Taponji Maharaj, he always used to give discourses. And then he say, whatever I talk is only Shabda Brahma. If you want to really know the Brahman, you have to drop all these words and then understand and then experience. Then Gurudev asked, Maharaj, why can't you give me the straight away, the Brahman only? Then the story goes, Taponji, after some time, he asked for some water. In that cold Uttarakashi, in the morning, he was asking for water. He was so surprised. Then he brought a glass full of water. Then Taponji said, I only asked for water. Why are you bringing the glass? How can I bring water without glass? Same thing. You cannot bring Brahman without words. You have to use words. But you cannot drink or you can eat the glass. You have to drink the water and leave the glass. Similarly, you have to drop the words and know the self, know the Brahman. So therefore, no amount of logic or discussion can help. See, when I was studying, we had great association with the great Mahatma. And he was part of the Chinmaya mission at that time. He was not from Chinmaya mission, but he was part of Chinmaya mission. They was asked him to be there. So he only inspired me to this path. While I was going to leave him to the ashram for the Vedanta course, he told me only one thing. He said, Beta, don't go there and argue or discuss anything with anybody. This is not a matter for discussion or argument. Whatever Acharya tells you, you listen intently, you contemplate on it. There is no scope for discussing with somebody or arguing. No, don't do this. But I never listened. That's a different story. When you go to the Vedanta, all brahmacharis, down, do. After 9 only our life starts. Right? We all assemble. And then we start discussion, arguments, this, that. But Acharya was so kind. He knows everything. He allowed everything to happen. So the idea is what? It is beyond logic and discussion. It is beyond comparison. So therefore, this Brahman has to be realized as a self. There is no point in discussing endlessly. Aprameyam, anadimcha. Aprameyam, what? It cannot be measured. Aprameyam, immeasurable. You cannot use any instrument and measure it. It cannot be measured. And not only that, aprameyam is another meaning here Guruji has given is unknown. It is unknown. Why? As a individual, we cannot know this truth as an object. Only when the ahankar perishes, this is revealed itself. So it is said aprameyam, anadimcha, anadi. Anadi means what? Beginningless. Anantam is said anadi. Why it is said anadi? There was no time when this was not. Or the concept of time came only after the mind. So it is anadi only. He was anadi by player. So orphan no meaning is anadi. Anadi apiltam. It is really an orphan only. Meaning what? There is nobody. Anadimcha yajñātva muchyate buddha. Having known this self, which is anadi, which is aprameyam, etu drishtanta vajjitam. Buddha, the wise one, muchyate, he is free from all his limitations, from all the bondages. He is free. So therefore, this Brahman has to be realized as the self. There is no point in discussing, analyzing. To some extent, we should understand, no doubt about it. But more than that, we should stand under. We should stand under means what? We should try to realize the self. That is very important. Having said this, the 10th verse, I don't know what it is. In cricket terminology, they call it as a googly. You are clean bowled. Suddenly the ball turns the other way. You do not know where to go. And you are bowled, clean bowled. So the 10th was a very off-quoted one. And it's from the giddy heights. Rishi talks from the giddy heights. Nanirodho na chotpattihi nabaddo na cha sadakaha namumukshur na vai muktaha ityesha paramartatha nanirodho na chotpattihi nabaddo na cha sadakaha namumukshur na vai muktaha ityesha paramartatha. How to explain this verse? Gaudapadacharya has taken this verse verbatim and he has used in Karika. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi quotes this. Again and again he quotes this. This is absolute standpoint. This is absolute. What he says, na nirodha. There is nothing called as dissolution. Here nirodha means what? Dissolution. Na nirodha. Na cha utpattihi. In the first place there was no creation. Apradhana dissolution of the basic. Na cha utpattihi. Na baddhaha. There is nobody who is bound. Na cha sadakaha. There is nobody who is seeking. Na mumukshuhu. Nobody who is desirous of moksha. No mumukshu. Navai muktaha. There is nobody who is a mukta. Realized. Ityesha paramartata. This is the absolute standpoint. This is from the absolute. What does it mean? See, again and again, the Mahatmas talk about the dream state. To explain this also, they talk about the dream state. When you are lost in the dream, in a jungle or somewhere, then you are chased, let us say, by an wild animal like tiger or lion. And then you fall into a deep well. You fall. Oh, you cry. And then you get up. When you get up, what is your impression or what is your opinion about the dream? Nothing was there. Similarly, when you are awakened, you realize this ahankara itself was false, always. So when the ahankara itself is false, who is bound? Bhagavan asks this question. If you say, Bhagavan, I want liberation, first see who is bound. I am bound. You first find out who am I. If you try to find out, the I itself is not there. Then who is bound? Nobody who is bound. So what is the question of liberation? When the Mahatma is awakened, he finds not only after his awakening he is Brahman. He realizes that always it has been like that. So therefore, there was no world. When there was no world, nothing other than Brahman, then there are no other jivas who are striving. No mumukshus. Because there was never a bondage, never a liberation. Another example, Gurudev's favorite example. Two fellows were walking in a street, dark, pitch darkness, or semi-dark, let us say. And then one fellow says, "Oh, ghost! My God, ghost!" Then this fellow, he takes him and he says, "See, it's not ghost, it's a post." When this fellow saw the ghost, it was real. It was not imaginary. It was real for him. For him, it was real. So where from the ghost appeared? Ghost appeared only in his mind, not from the post. From the post standpoint, there was never ever a ghost. You cannot say ghost disappeared into the post. You cannot say. You cannot say ghost appeared one day and then it disappeared. You cannot say. Therefore, all this is in a relative standpoint only, in a relative sense only. That is why nobody is able to explain. So I tell you one more thing, please listen carefully. From the Mahatma standpoint, he is seeing only the self, or his experience is the self alone, nothing else. From the ignorant man's standpoint, from our standpoint, we see only the differences. It is very difficult to reconcile these two standpoints. It's not possible to reconcile at all. How to reconcile this? Then the question is asked, how come this ignorance in the first place came to me? Mahatma says, nobody is ignorant. There's only Brahman, the self. No, I am ignorant. I am seeing the differences. I am not able to experience what you are talking about. I don't know. Then the Mahatma says, I also don't know. I don't. If he says I don't know, you get very depressed. Mahatma ke unnu vananga matengudhu. So then Mahatma, out of compassion, he starts his discourse, saying that yes, there was Brahman in the beginning. And then he says, because of something called the Ajnanam, the Maya, then we are very happy to hear. Oh, Maya would have paduthudanadalla. Yes. And then he says, because of your vasanas. Vasana? Yes. How did the first vasana came? Don't ask. It's a nonsensical question. Just listen to my story. So whenever you ask about the first vasana, the first karma, nobody can explain anything. the karma theory collapses. Because to do any karma, you need a body. Why body is given? Because of the karma phala. So karma malo uncha, body malo uncha. Don't ask such questions. How did the ignorance came in the first place? Because this Brahman, there is no scope for ignorance. How did? Don't ask me. You only said you are ignorant. I didn't say. I'm only trying to help you. So all these things are taught, and at the end, how they define Maya? Ya Masa Maya. That which is not is Maya. What? This. When you just listen to your Guru and do whatever he says, you are saved. You start questioning, you are in trouble. You know one fantastic thing? He studied scriptures under Swami Ramana Swaroopananda for more than 2 years in the Sandipani. Never ever once he had a question and answer session. Never ever once. He doesn't believe in it. Whenever we go to him with a doubt, he says, listen to all the discourses, everything will be clear. Don't come to me. Can you do? Later we understood we have to question the doubter. Bhagavan said, if you go on satisfying the doubter, the doubts will never end. You question the very doubter and understand that the doubter himself is false. So therefore, from the highest standpoint, all this is null and void. That is why it is said like this. But in a very relative standpoint, when the Mahatmas say, yes, this karma yoga you have to practice, then bhakti you have to develop towards the Lord, and then you have to sit for meditation and study scriptures, it all has got meaning. Chitta Shuddhi, they say yes, Chitta Shuddhi, one has to strive. Everything is there. But if a person takes a standpoint, no, I am Purna, I am just the self, nothing can touch me, nothing can affect me. If we can just hold on to this and stand there without any compromise, without coming down, that is also another way of doing it. So one is, I am here, I have to work only from here and to reach there. This is what is a traditional way of thinking. But the Guru says, this itself is wrong, your assumption is wrong. You are that, he says no. So when we can hold on to that one statement and remain there and not compromise, then also it is done. நம்ம அங்க பாதி இங்க பாதி எப்பயுமே நம்ம ஆத்துல ஒரு கால் சேர்த்துல ஒரு கால்.
There are certain Mahatmas who say that.
Yes, Nisargadatta Maharaj says that. Nisargadatta says that, and even Ashtavakra talks about that. You hold on to that and remain there, that's it. He says even meditation is troubling or sort of manasa punna kikara vishayam solranga. Meditation, they say, what? You are disturbing yourself. This is a very different standpoint. And J. Krishnamurti beautifully says, Baba, wait. What are you trying to do? Trying to swim, reach that other shore. Who knows? You may be in the other shore. If you swim, you may go to the opposite shore. So wait, pass. Meaning what? We are in that shore only. Now we feel we are not in the shore, we have reached the other shore. And frantically we swim. He says, wait, who knows? You are already in the other shore only. If you swim, you will go to the opposite shore.
Later on, there comes the slope of after realization. Shishya turns back, there is no ocean of samsara.
Yeah, true. After crossing the ocean with a boat, when he walks out, there is no ocean, there is no boat. See, this is the very highest standpoint. But this is how we have to understand. All this thing is null and void from the standpoint of the Mahatma realized so. Therefore, he can proclaim from his standpoint that this is all nothing, and that is true only. But if we feel that we are bound, we have to realize, we have to do this sadhana, that is also fine. But if a seeker takes the standpoint, no, all this is rubbish, I am the self, and if we can hold on to that, that is also fine. See, different approach is given. Whichever suits you, whichever appeals to you, you have to take it. But we should not condemn others. That is a very important thing in this sadhana. We should not think this is a superior sadhana I am performing. Wow, he is little dumb, little dull with it. We should not think that. This is ahankara. We have to go in our path. As far as possible, we have to encourage others to walk in their own path. And then slowly and steadily, the Lord will take care of everything anyway. And here it says there's nothing to take care of. அவன் இந்த வேதாந்த சாஸ்திரத்துக்கு வந்தாலே ஒரே குழப்பம். புரியாமல் போனாலே அது வேதாந்தம். பாட்டு when you don't understand, it is called as Vedanta. एक एवात्मा मन्तव्यः जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु स्थानत्रय व्यतीतस्य पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते एक एवात्मा मन्तव्यः जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु स्थानत्रय व्यतीतस्य पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते एक एव आत्मा मन्तव्यः. It should be known that eka eva atma, the atma is one and one only. Jagrat, swapna, susuptishu. In the waking state, the dream state, or in the deep sleep state. In all these three states, the self, atma means self. The self is one only. The traditional Vedanta Shastra explains, in the waking state, the waker first appears, and then his waking world, and then his waking experience. When that waking state goes, and when you are in the dream state, the dreamer, the dream world, and the dream experience. And when you go into the deep sleep state, actually speaking, there is now nobody there. It's all unmanifest form. It's like only ignorance. Or technical Vedanta Shastra says there is a jnana vritti and all those stuff. In a very subtle form, all those stuff. But the idea is what? This waker who comes along